My chosen one, pause for a moment, because what I am about to reveal is not random, not ordinary, and not delayed. God is scanning your heart right now. Archangel Michael has blocked the path of a gift that was actually a trap. Something is hidden in your closet or under your bed that needs purifying. Open this immediately before the energy settles. This is not fear. This is protection. Right now, as you listen to these words, heaven is not silent. There is movement in the unseen realm. There is a divine inspection taking place. Not of your mistakes, not of your past, but of your heart, your intentions, your hidden thoughts, the quiet desires you never told anyone about. God is scanning your heart like light passing through glass. Nothing is hidden from Him, and what He sees is not rejection, it is potential. But there is something interfering with your alignment. Archangel Michael stepped forward before something reached your hands. Yes, you heard that correctly. There was a gift approaching you. It looked harmless. It looked generous. It may have even appeared as an answered prayer. But heaven identified something woven into it that your physical eyes could not detect. It was beautifully wrapped on the outside, yet spiritually contaminated on the inside. And before it could fully enter your life, Archangel Michael raised his sword. You blocked it. You might have wondered why something suddenly fell apart, why a deal collapsed, why a person withdrew, why a package was delayed, why an opportunity felt so close and then disappeared. It was not rejection. It was divine interception, because that gift carried an attachment, an energy, a subtle influence designed to anchor confusion in your home, to plant restlessness in your sleep, to disturb your peace in small, almost unnoticeable ways until your clarity weakened. But heaven said no. Now listen carefully, because this is where it becomes urgent. There is something inside your personal space that is acting like a magnet. It is either in your closet or under your bed. A physical object. Something you have not paid attention to in weeks, maybe months. It may seem insignificant. A box. An old item. A gift. Something from the past. But it holds emotional residue. Objects absorb memory. They carry atmosphere. And when something is tied to disappointment, betrayal, jealousy, or spiritual heaviness, it does not remain neutral. It lingers. God is not exposing this to scare you. He is exposing it because your next level requires purity of environment. You have been praying for elevation. You have been asking for clarity. You have been seeking breakthrough. But breakthrough cannot fully land where cluttered energy settles. And that is why this message found you now. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of your home, not to judge you, but to guard you. His presence is firm but protective. His sword is not raised against you. It is raised against interference. The moment you open that closet, the moment you check under that bed, the moment you remove what no longer belongs, you shift something in the atmosphere. This is about obedience. Not dramatic rituals, not fear-based reactions, just awareness and action. There is a reason you felt nudged to click this message, a reason your spirit paused instead of scrolling. Your intuition has been whispering that something feels off lately. Maybe your sleep hath been slightly disturbed. Maybe your thoughts have felt heavier at night. Maybe your room doesn't feel as light as it once did. Energy settles where it is allowed to remain. And heaven is saying, do not let it settle. This is the window. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Because when God scans your heart, He is not only looking for purity, He is preparing you for promotion. The blocked gift with a disguised delay tactic. It would have distracted you from the real blessing that is still on its way. A cleaner one, a lighter one, a divinely authored one. And Archangel Michael does not block blessings. He blocks traps. Understand this deeply. If something was removed from your path recently, it is because something greater requires space. So here is what you must do after this message ends. Go to your room. Open your closet fully. Look without rushing. Then check beneath your bed. If something immediately draws your attention, trust that instinct. Remove it. Clean the space. Pray over your room. Speak peace into it. You do not need complex words, just intention. Say, anything that does not serve God's purpose in my life must leave. And watch what shifts. Because once the physical act aligns with spiritual obedience, acceleration begins. This is the moment where many ignore the instruction and remain stagnant. But you are not like many. You are guided here because you are responsive. And right now, heaven is watching what you choose to do next. The energy is not fully settled yet. There is still time. The atmosphere is still flexible. Move before it hardens. Archangel Michael has already done his part. You blocked what you could not see. Now your part is simple. Clear what you can see. The next revelation will explain why this hidden object is connected to someone you least expect and why this cleansing will unlock a door that has been quietly waiting for you. Beloved soul, what you are about to understand now will connect the unseen protection to the physical space around you in a way that will change how you look at your own room tonight. When Archangel Michael blocked that gift, he did not only stop an object, he stopped a transfer. Because every object carries intention. Every gift carries the spirit in which it was given. And sometimes what looks like kindness is layered with hidden motives. Not always intentional evil, but unresolved emotions, jealousy, control, or attachment. These things cling. That is why something in your closet or under your bed feels heavier than it should. Under the bed is the place of rest. It is directly connected to your sleep, your subconscious, your dreams. The closet is the place of identity. It holds what you wear, how you present yourself to the world. Do you see the symbolism? One affects how you rest. The other affects how you show up. This is not coincidence. There has been subtle interference in one of these two areas of your life. Either your rest has been slightly disturbed, or your confidence has felt inconsistent. You may have brushed it off as stress. You may have blamed routine. But heaven sees patterns that you do not. And this is why God is scanning your heart right now. Not to accuse you, not to expose you publicly, but to prepare you privately. Because your heart is ready for elevation. Yet elevation demands clarity, and clarity cannot live in hidden clutter. Archangel Michael operates with precision. When he blocks something, it is not dramatic chaos. It is surgical protection. He steps in quietly. He redirects outcomes. He removes items from your timeline that would have created slow corrosion in your spirit. You might still be thinking, it's just an object. How can it matter? But think about this. Why do certain rooms feel peaceful while others feel tense? Why can you walk into a space and immediately sense heaviness without knowing why? Atmosphere is real. Energy is real. Memory imprints are real. There is something you have kept out of sentiment, habit, or forgetfulness. It may be tied to a past relationship, a broken season, a failed opportunity, a person who smiled at you but did not truly celebrate you. And while you moved on mentally, the object remained physically. That remaining is what needs correction. This is why the message said to open it immediately before the energy settled. Because when something stays long enough, it blends into normal. And what blends into normal becomes invisible. Heaven is making it visible again. You were not meant to carry yesterday into tomorrow. You were not meant to sleep above unresolved residue. You were not meant to dress yourself daily beside stored disappointment. And this is where obedience becomes powerful. When you physically remove something that spiritually does not belong, you send a signal. A signal that says, I am aligned. I am aware. I am ready. Archangel Michael responds to readiness. The blocked gift was only the first layer. The second layer is internal honesty. As God scans your heart, He's also asking you gently, is there anything you are holding on to that no longer aligns with who you are becoming? Because sometimes the object under the bed is not just physical. It represents attachment. But here is the beautiful truth. You are not being condemned. You are being upgraded. And upgrades require removal. If this message is stirring something inside you, do not ignore that stirring. That is discernment activating. That is clarity rising. Also, if you feel this word is touching your spirit, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs protection in their home, and comment what you are feeling. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing family that refuses to walk blindly. When you engage, you help this message reach other souls who are on the edge of breakthrough but need one confirmation. Join the membership if you feel called to go deeper, because we are building a space of spiritual strength together. There is more unfolding here, and what is coming next will reveal why this cleansing is directly connected to an unexpected blessing that has been delayed, not denied. Hold on, because what is about to be uncovered will make the interception make perfect sense. Faithful one, the moment you remove what does not belong, something extraordinary begins to move in your favor. What felt delayed will suddenly feel synchronized. What seemed blocked will begin to flow. Because what heaven was waiting for was not time to pass, it was for you to respond. There is a direct connection between the hidden object and the unexpected delay you experienced. That blocked gift was not random. It was strategically positioned to test your discernment. It carried familiarity. It carried emotional hooks. It may have reminded you of something you once prayed for. But beneath that surface was a subtle exchange, an exchange of peace for pressure. Archangel Michael saw the full blueprint. You only saw the wrapping. This is why divine protection sometimes feels like disappointment. When the opportunity slipped through your fingers, part of you questioned whether you had missed your chance. But heaven was saying, I am preserving your future. Now understand this carefully. When something impure remains in your personal space, it does not only affect the atmosphere. It sows momentum. Not dramatically, not obviously, but subtly. You feel slightly less motivated, slightly less focused, slightly more distracted. And over time, slight shifts become significant stagnation. God is scanning your heart because He is preparing you for acceleration. But acceleration cannot merge with residue. There is a blessing with your name on it that requires spiritual clarity. Not perfection, clarity. The removal of what no longer matches your next season. And the reason this message feels urgent is because the window of preparation is narrow. Heaven moves in timing. Archangel Michael does not block traps forever. He blocks them long enough for you to realign. And once you realign, the protected path opens wider than before. Have you noticed how certain prayers have intensified recently? How your desire for peace has grown stronger? That is not random. That is preparation. When your spirit begins craving stillness, It means you are being invited into higher responsibility. And higher responsibility demands cleaner ground. The object hidden in your closet or under your bed is symbolic of something deeper. It represents an old agreement, an old emotion, an old identity. Perhaps it was tied to who you used to be. Perhaps it was connected to someone who once had influence in your life. Perhaps it was linked to a version of yourself that operated in survival mode instead of authority. Keeping it unintentionally kept that version of you active. But that version is expired, and heaven is gently saying, step forward. When you physically remove it, you are not just cleaning a room. You are closing a chapter. You are signaling that you refuse to sleep on old energy. You are declaring that your environment will reflect your elevation. This is why the message said open it immediately before the energy settled. Because energy becomes rooted when ignored. And rooted energy takes longer to uproot. But right now, it is loose. Right now, it is exposed. And exposure is mercy. Archangel Michael stands guard not only outside your home, but over your decision. You will not force your hand. Protection honors free will. But once you act, reinforcement begins. The blocked gift was a counterfeit. The real gift is cleaner, lighter, and free from hidden strings. It is still coming. And when it arrives, it will not disturb your peace. It will increase it. This cleansing is not about fear of objects. It is about alignment with destiny. God is scanning your heart because your heart is capable of carrying more. More influence. More clarity. More responsibility. But more requires less clutter. And when you act in obedience, even in small physical steps, heaven responds with spiritual acceleration. If this message is resonating deeply within you, do something prophetic right now. Type I receive divine cleanse in the comments if this is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 4449 has just been released over those who respond in faith. Now hear this carefully as we transition from revelation to action. When you sow into what nourishes your spirit, you participate in multiplying light. Scripture declares, give, and it shall be given unto you. This is not a distant verse. It is God speaking directly into your present moment. When you release support through super thanks, membership, or even through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a channel. You are watering a field where souls are awakened and protected. I am inviting you into obedience, not obligation. As you sow into this mission of spreading God's word, expect your own house to overflow with clarity and guarded peace. Those who give in alignment with this word will experience doors opening with divine ease. Do not hesitate. Act as one who understands that generosity unlocks guarded blessings. Step forward and sow now. Precious one, what you are stepping into now is not just a clear room, but a clearer dimension. The moment you chose to listen instead of dismiss, something shifted in the unseen. Because obedience, even in small acts, echoes loudly in the spiritual realm. There is a reason this message has circled around your sleeping space and your private storage areas. These are not random locations. They are symbolic gates. The bed represents vulnerability. It is where your conscious mind rests and your subconscious awakens. It is where dreams are formed, where divine messages can flow without interruption. The closet represents identity. It is where you prepare yourself before facing the world. It holds your external expression. When residue lingers in either place, it creates distortion. You may have noticed subtle signs over the past weeks. Strange dreams that felt confusing. Waking up tired even after full sleep. Moments of self-doubt that seemed to appear from nowhere. a slight hesitation in decisions you once would have made confidently. These are not signs of weakness. They are indicators of interference. Archangel Michael's role in your life right now is not accidental. He stands as a warrior of clarity. His protection is precise. He does not only guard you from visible threats, he guards you from slow erosion, from the kind of subtle weight that accumulates until you forget what lightness feels like. A blocked gift was one form of protection. The exposure of what is hidden in your room is the next. But now something deeper must be understood. Sometimes, objects carry emotional agreements. When someone gives you something during a complicated season, that object becomes attached to that season's frequency. Even if you have healed emotionally, the physical reminder can quietly reactivate old vibrations. It may not scream. It whispers. And whispers are dangerous when ignored long enough. God is scanning your heart because he sees readiness. He sees maturity. He sees that you are no longer who you were when that object entered your life. But until the physical environment reflects your spiritual growth, there will be resistance. Growth demands congruence. If your heart has elevated but your surroundings remain anchored in the past, tension forms. And tension manifests as stagnation. This is why the instruction was urgent. Open it. Look at it. Evaluate it honestly. Does it represent who you are becoming, or who you were surviving as? If it represents survival, release it. There is something powerful about physically letting go. When your hands release an item, your spirit confirms a decision. You are telling heaven, I trust you more than I trust familiarity. And trust unlocks movement. You may feel emotion when you remove it. That is normal. Emotion is not weakness. It is transition. Let it move through you. Do not cling to nostalgia if nostalgia is tied to limitation. Archangel Michael does not fight battles for people who refuse to let go of their chains. But you are not refusing. You are awakening. Right now, as you listen, the atmosphere around you is sensitive. This is a sacred pause, a divine inspection. Not because you are in danger, but because you are in preparation. The blessing that was delayed is closer than you think. But heaven will not layer a pure gift on top of unresolved residue. It would conflict. It would clash. It would strain you unnecessarily. God's blessings do not come with hidden anxiety. They come with expansion and peace. The counterfeit gift that was blocked would have introduced subtle dependency. It would have looked helpful but slowly demanded compromise. And compromise would have drained your spiritual authority. You were spared. Take a moment to recognize that. Not every blocked door is loss. Some are protection disguised as inconvenience. As you clear your space, also clear your language. Speak life over your room. Speak peace over your bed. Speak confidence over your closet. Declare that your home is a sanctuary. Words carry frequency. When spoken with intention, they reshape atmosphere. And something else is happening quietly. Your discernment is strengthening. The fact that this message resonates means you are no longer spiritually numb. You are alert. You are sensitive. You are growing in awareness. That is a gift in itself. What comes next will reveal how this cleansing connects to someone who recently reappeared in your thoughts or messages. There is a reason their name surfaced again. There is a reason memory has been circling back. And when that connection is revealed, you will understand why Archangel Michael moves so swiftly on your behalf. Listen closely, because what is surfacing now is not coincidence. The person who has recently crossed your mind is directly connected to the energy that needed to be cleared. You may not have spoken to them in weeks, months, or even years. Yet suddenly, their name appeared in your thoughts. A memory replayed. A dream carried their presence. That was not random imagination. That was spiritual tracing. When God scans your heart, He also highlights unfinished chords. This does not always mean you need to reconnect with that person. In fact, most times it means the opposite. It means there was an invisible thread that never fully dissolved. And threads, when left hanging, can quietly tug at your peace without you realizing it. The hidden object in your closet or under your bed may be directly or symbolically tied to them. A gift they gave. Something you bought during that season. An item connected to who you were when they had influence over your life. Even if the relationship ended peacefully, emotional imprints can linger longer than expected. Archangel Michael did not block the recent gift randomly. The energy signature was similar. Familiar frequency. Familiar emotional tone. Heaven recognized the pattern before it repeated. You were about to walk into a cycle disguised as progress. That is why intervention came quickly. Understand something powerful here. The enemy rarely attacks with obvious darkness when you are spiritually alert. Instead, repetition is used. Old patterns dressed in new packaging. Similar personalities with slightly different faces. Opportunities that resemble previous seasons but carry the same underlying compromise. You were about to accept something that felt comfortable because it matched a memory. But memory is not always alignment. This is why the cleansing is critical. Because when old residue remains physically present, it becomes easier for similar energies to re-enter. Familiarity creates access points. God is not removing people from your life to isolate you. He's refining your circle to elevate you. And sometimes elevation feels like reduction before expansion. The person who resurfaced in your mind represents a chapter that shaped you, but it does not define you anymore. There were lessons in that season. Growth. Even gratitude. But there were also limitations. Emotional dependencies. Subtle compromises. Versions of yourself that operated from fear of losing rather than confidence in being chosen. You have outgrown that frequency. But growth must be acknowledged through action. If you keep objects tied to that season hidden in your intimate space, you subconsciously keep a doorway cracked open. Not necessarily for the person, but for the energy dynamic. And your next season cannot coexist with that dynamic. Archangel Michael's intervention was protective not just of your present, but of your future relationships, future opportunities, future stability. The blocked gift was a mirror of an old attachment pattern. It would have slowly reintroduced emotional imbalance. Heaven is breaking cycles at the root, and cycles are broken through awareness plus removal. You may be feeling mixed emotions right now. Part of you understands this deeply. Another part feels sentimental. Attention is normal. Transition always carries dual sensation. But ask yourself this: does holding on to this item strengthen my present identity, or does it anchor me to a former version of myself? Be honest. God is scanning your heart gently, not harshly. He sees your sincerity. He sees your desire to grow. This is not about punishment for past connections. It is about closing doors that were never meant to remain slightly open. When you remove what is hidden, you are declaring that no past attachment has authority over your future alignment. And something extraordinary happens when cords are cut. The mental clarity sharpens. Sleep deepens. Unexpected peace settles. New invitations appear. Not rushed. Not chaotic. But aligned. You may even notice that the person who resurfaced in your thoughts begins to fade naturally once the object is removed. Because the energetic tether dissolves. This is not mystical exaggeration. It is spiritual principle. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, patterns grow. Remove the anchor, and the current changes. Archangel Michael is not only blocking traps. He is mentoring you into discernment, teaching you how to recognize subtle repetition before it matures into regret. You are being upgraded from reactive living to conscious alignment. And what is coming next will explain why this cleansing is directly tied to a financial or career-related breakthrough that has been hovering around you but has not fully landed yet. There is a door connected to your purpose that requires emotional independence before it opens completely. And when you understand that connection, everything that felt confusing will suddenly make sense. Pay attention now, because what is about to be revealed connects your emotional cleansing to your financial and purpose alignment in a way you did not expect. The delay you have been experiencing is not only relational, it is structural. There has been a door connected to your work, your calling, or your financial stability that has hovered near you but never fully opened. You sensed it. You felt opportunities brushing past you. Conversations always turning into contracts. Ideas forming but not stabilizing. Demonetized and so on. This is not lack of talent. It is not lack of favor. It is energetic misalignment. When old emotional cords remain active, even subtly, they divide focus. They drain authority. They create internal hesitation. And hesitation, even microscopic, is enough to delay expansion. God is scanning your heart because your heart carries capacity for leadership. Whether that leadership is in business, ministry, creativity, or influence, it requires decisiveness. It requires clean boundaries. It requires confidence that is not subconsciously seeking validation from old seasons. The object hidden in your private space represented more than memory. It represented an unfinished identity loop. And identity directly affects provision. Archangel Michael's intervention was not just about blocking a relational trap. It was about protecting your assignment. There was a financial opportunity approaching you that looked beneficial but would have tied you into dependence. It would have required subtle compromise, not dramatic wrongdoing, just small adjustments in values, small silences when you should speak, small agreements that slowly dilute conviction. Heaven will not fund what weakens you. So the blockage you felt was mercy. Once you clear the physical anchor tied to past emotional patterns, your internal authority strengthens. And authority attracts stable opportunity. When you know who you are without lingering attachment, you negotiate differently. You choose differently. You discern differently. You stop chasing what feels familiar and start attracting what is aligned. This is why the cleansing must happen before the next door opens. Because once the door opens, it will require full presence. No divided loyalty to old validation. No subconscious need to prove something to someone from your past. No hidden nostalgia influencing decisions. You are stepping into a season where clarity equals currency. And Archangel Michael stands as guardian of that clarity. You may have thought the delay meant you were behind, but you were being refined. The blocked gift, the resurfacing memory, the hidden object, all of it was a coordinated exposure. Not to embarrass you, not to shame you, but to prepare you. When God scans your heart, He refines motives. He strengthens resolve. He highlights attachments that no longer serve the assignment. And here is the truth. Your assignment is expanding. Here is an idea you have been hesitant to pursue boldly. A move you have considered but postponed. A conversation you know you need to initiate regarding your work or finances. The hesitation was not incompetence. It was internal interference. Remove the interference, and courage rises naturally. Once you clear your space, take a moment to sit in stillness. Notice how your breathing shifts. Notice how your thoughts settle. That stillness is not emptiness. It is readiness. And as this word is resonating with you, take action not only in your room but here as well. Like this message so it can reach someone whose breakthrough is being delayed by hidden residue. Share it with a friend who hath been sensing stagnation in their home or purpose. Comment what you are releasing and what you are expecting in return. Subscribe to this channel if you are serious about walking in discernment instead of confusion. Join the membership if you desire deeper spiritual insight and consistent alignment. When you engage, you are not just supporting content. You are strengthening a community that chooses awareness over ignorance. Because what is unfolding here is layered. The moment the cleansing is complete, a conversation will surface. It may be a call, an email, an unexpected invitation, and it will feel different from the blocked opportunity. It will feel steady, calm, clean. You will not feel pressured. You will feel positioned. Hold on to that awareness as we move forward, because the next revelation will uncover why the timing of this exposure was critical within a specific short window, and why acting swiftly is the difference between delay and acceleration. There is a narrow window over your life right now, and that window is not about fear, it is about timing. What you do in this moment determines how quickly acceleration begins. This is why the instruction felt urgent. Not dramatic, not chaotic, but urgent. Heaven works in windows. There are moments when clarity is heightened, when exposure is mercifully revealed, when intervention has already been made on your behalf. In those moments, action carries multiplied impact. Delay, however, allows residue to resettle. The reason this cleansing had to happen now is because a cycle was nearing repetition. The person who resurfaced in your thoughts was not just memory, they were a symbolic checkpoint, a test to see whether your discernment had matured. You did not reach out impulsively. You did not reopen doors recklessly. That alone shows growth. But growth must be sealed with decision. Archangel Michael's presence around you right now is firm and watchful. Not aggressive. Not intimidating. Protective. He has blocked what you could not see, but he will not override your will in what you can see. The object in your room is visible. The emotional tie is recognizable. The pattern is understandable. Now the choice is yours. The window is short because your next elevation requires clean ground. There is something significant forming around your name. Conversations are happening about you in rooms you have never entered. Opportunities are being weighed. You are being considered for something you prayed about long ago. But consideration requires congruence. If your physical environment contradicts your spiritual readiness, the door hesitates. This is not punishment. It is alignment. Think about construction. Before a new structure rises, the ground must be cleared. Not partially, fully. Even small debris can destabilize a foundation. In the same way, even small emotional anchors can destabilize expansion. The urgency exists because the opportunity forming around you is stable. It is long-term. It is not a temporary boost. And long-term blessing demands internal stability. The block gift was short-term gratification with long-term complication. The incoming opportunity is long-term elevation with immediate peace. Can you feel the difference? One felt exciting but slightly pressured. The other will feel calm but powerful. This is how discernment matures. You begin to recognize peace as confirmation instead of adrenaline. When you remove what is hidden in your closet or under your bed, you are not just clearing space. You are declaring readiness for permanence. You are signaling to heaven that you prefer lasting alignment over temporary thrill. And timing responds to readiness. There are moments when action within hours creates momentum that waiting weeks cannot replicate. You are inside one of those moments. That is why the message said to open it immediately before the energy settles. Settled energy becomes normalized. Normalized misalignment becomes delay. But unsettled exposure can be removed easily. You may notice that after this cleansing, your thinking becomes sharper. Decisions that once felt cloudy will feel obvious. Conversations that once felt intimidating will feel manageable. This is not coincidence. It is the result of congruence between heart and home. God scans your heart not to find flaws, but to measure capacity. And your capacity has increased. But capacity without clearing creates internal pressure. Clearing releases that pressure. The short window is also connected to momentum already moving in your favor. Archangel Michael did not block that gift randomly. He blocked it because something better was close enough that interference could not be allowed. You are closer than you realize. You not treat this moment casually. You not postpone it because of comfort. Comfort has delayed many destinies. You are not called to comfort. You are called to clarity. And clarity requires courage. Courage to let go. Courage to detach. Courage to choose alignment over nostalgia. When this window closes, the next one will still come. But why extend the journey when acceleration is available now? In the next unfolding revelation, you will understand why your sleep patterns over the last few weeks were directly signaling misexposure, and how your dreams were quietly revealing what your waking mind ignored. Hear this with spiritual sensitivity, because your sleep has not been random. The restless nights, the vivid dreams, the strange symbols that lingered after you woke up, all of it was communication. When your conscious mind is busy, heaven often waits until you are resting to speak clearly. The bed is not just a piece of furniture. It is a gateway of vulnerability. It is where your defenses lower. It is where your spirit becomes more receptive. That is why anything stored beneath it carries amplified influence. Over the past few weeks, your dreams may have felt unusual. Perhaps you dreamed of past places, old faces, situations you thought were long resolved. Maybe you woke up feeling unsettled without understanding why. That was not random mental replay. That was exposure. God was allowing your subconscious to surface what your conscious mind had normalized. When something is hidden physically in your sleeping space, it interacts with your rest. Not in a dramatic horror-like way, but subtly. It influences the tone of your dreams. It affects the depth of your sleep. It creates low-level tension that you cannot logically explain. And because you are sensitive, because your spirit is awakening, you felt it. Archangel Michael's protection does not stop at blocking external traps. He also guards internal clarity. But guarding does not mean forcing removal. It means highlighting what must go. Your dreams were the highlight. Have you noticed that some dreams recently carried a theme of being stuck, or searching for something, or trying to leave a place but moving slowly? Those are symbolic indicators of unresolved attachment, not necessarily to a person directly, but to a version of yourself connected to that object. When God scans your heart, He examines what you truly desire versus what you subconsciously cling to. And when those two are misaligned, dreams begin to expose the gap. The reason this revelation is unfolding now is because your spirit is ready to interpret instead of ignore. You are not behind. You are becoming aware. Once the hidden object is removed, you will notice a shift in your sleep almost immediately. Your breathing will deepen. Your dreams will become clearer or calmer. You may even receive new insight in your rest. Ideas, solutions, direction. That is because the interference layer will be gone. Sleep is sacred. It is restoration. It is recalibration. It is where strategies form without strain, and heaven desires to speak to you without obstruction. The blocked gift was an external trap. The hidden object was an internal anchor. Both needed attention before your next phase could begin. And that next phase is connected to clarity of mind. Here is a decision approaching you that requires rested thinking. It cannot be made from emotional residue. It cannot be made from subconscious loyalty to old patterns. It must be made from grounded confidence. That is why this cleansing affects your bed directly. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of your rest as a guardian of peace. But peace must be wielded. Removing what does not belong is an invitation for deeper covering. You may also notice that once the object is gone, the person who resurfaced in your thoughts no longer feels emotionally charged. Their memory will feel neutral. That neutrality is freedom. Freedom is not forgetting. It is detachment without disturbance. This is the purification that was needed. And now, as this truth settles into your understanding, respond prophetically. Type "My rest is protected" in the comments if this word confirms what you have been sensing. Blessing code 8181 is now activated over those who align their space and their spirit. As this revelation about your rest connects to your obedience, understand something powerful. When you help spread messages that guard other homes and awaken other spirits, you participate in multiplying peace. Scripture says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and this is not ancient history. This is God speaking into your present obedience. When you release support through super thanks, step into membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into a field that protects souls before traps reach them. I am inviting you to act as one who recognizes divine timing. As you give, expect your own rest to deepen and your household to experience unusual calm. This is not a casual donation moment. This is a prophetic response to protection. Sow now and watch how heaven responds to your obedience. What you are stepping into now is stabilization. The exposure has happened. The protection has been explained. The dreams have revealed the interference. Now comes the strengthening. Once you remove what was hidden and purify your space, there will be a noticeable calm. But do not mistake calm for inactivity. Calm is the foundation for authority. And authority is what your next season requires. You have been in a phase of preparation disguised as delay. Situations that seemed stalled were actually aligning. People who seemed distant were being repositioned. Doors that appeared closed were being reinforced so that when they open, they remain open. This is the difference between temporary opportunity and established blessing. The blocked gift was temporary. The incoming shift is structural. God is scanning your heart not to test your worth, but to confirm your readiness to handle permanence. Temporary things require excitement. Permanent things require maturity. And maturity is quiet. You may begin to notice over the next few days that your reactions change. Situations that once triggered emotion will feel smaller. Conversations that once felt intimidating will feel manageable. This is because emotional cords are no longer subtly pulling at your decisions. When cords are cut, clarity sharpens. There is also something important you must understand about spiritual protection. Archangel Michael's intervention was not a one-time act. It was a signal. a signal that you are being guarded because you are moving into visible influence. Protection increases where purpose increases. Not everyone experiences this level of interception. It happens when assignment matters, and your assignment matters. There are people connected to your future who require you to be stable. They require you to be clear. They require you to be unattached to unresolved chapters. Because unstable leaders create unstable environments. But stabilized individuals create safe expansion. You are being positioned as someone who carries peace into rooms. The cleansing of your private space was the first demonstration of that peace. If you can guard your own atmosphere, you can influence larger ones. You may also notice subtle confirmations beginning to appear. A message that affirms your direction. A conversation that aligns with your growth. An idea that feels inspired rather than forced. These are not coincidences. They are responses. Heaven responds to obedience quickly. The urgency that was emphasized earlier was not about panic. It was about momentum. Once momentum begins, it builds. Now that the interference has been addressed, momentum can accelerate without resistance. But here is something critical. Do not return mentally to what you removed physically. Do not romanticize the old season. Do not question whether you overreacted. Discernment often feels extreme to those who are used to compromise. But obedience feels freeing to those who choose alignment. Trust the release. If the person tied to that old energy reaches out again, you will notice the difference in your response. You will not feel pulled. You will feel observant, detached, clear. The clarity is evidence of growth. Archangel Michael's protection continues, but your discernment must remain active. Protection is partnership. Heaven guards, but you decide. This is the strengthening phase. It may feel subtle, but it is powerful. Like roots growing deeper beneath soil before a tree grows taller above ground. And something is forming that you cannot yet fully see. A stable opportunity. A partnership aligned with your values. A financial shift that does not demand emotional compromise. A door that opens without draining your peace. It is closer than it was yesterday. The final unfolding will reveal why this entire exposure was also connected to generational patterns quietly ending through you, and how your obedience has impacted more than just your personal space. There is something larger happening here than just your room, your sleep, or your delayed opportunity. What you confronted and cleared was not only personal, it was generational. Patterns do not begin with you, but they can end with you. When God scans your heart, He does not only look at your present desires. He sees the lineage behind you, the emotional habits that were normalized in your family, the relational compromises that were modeled as survival, the quiet tolerance of misalignment that was passed down as this is just how it is. You inherited patterns you did not consciously choose, but you have the authority to break them. The hidden object under your bed or inside your closet was symbolic of a repeated cycle. Holding on to things longer than necessary. Allowing sentimental attachment to override discernment. Accepting partial peace instead of full clarity. These habits do not appear dramatic, but over time they shape destiny. Archangel Michael's intervention was not only about blocking a present trap, it was about preventing a repeated storyline. Somewhere in your lineage, there were people who accepted gifts with hidden strings because they felt unworthy of better. Somewhere, there were relationships maintained out of fear of being alone. Somewhere, there were financial decisions made from pressure instead of peace. And without awareness, patterns quietly repeat. But you became aware. You listened when the message felt uncomfortable. You examine your private space instead of dismissing the nudge. You recognize the resurfacing memory instead of romanticizing it. That awareness interrupts repetition. You are the interruption. Generational cycles break when someone chooses clarity over comfort. This is why the urgency was emphasized. Because when cycles attempt to repeat, they often do so during transitional seasons. You are in transition. Elevation is near, and cycles try to anchor you before you rise. But the anchor was exposed. The moment you removed that object, you were not just cleaning a room. You were rewriting a pattern. You were declaring that your future will not mirror unresolved past behaviors. This is powerful. You may feel a strange mixture of relief and responsibility right now. Relief because something lifted. Responsibility because you realize your decisions carry weight beyond you. That weight is not pressure. It is purpose. When generational habits end, generational blessing begins. Because what no longer drains energy allows new energy to build. You might even notice changes in family conversations. Subtle shifts. Different responses. Greater calm. This is how patterns dissolve. Quietly, steadily through one person choosing differently. Archangel Michael guards bloodlines when one person stands in awareness. Protection multiplies outward from a single obedient act. The block gift was a reenactment attempt. The cleansing was a refusal. And now, something new can form without interference. There is a stability coming to your finances that will not feel chaotic. There is a relationship forming in your future that will not require emotional guessing. There is a level of rest approaching you that will not be fragile. Because the foundation is clean. As this truth resonates with you, engage actively in this moment. Like this message so it travels to someone who is unknowingly repeating a cycle. Share it with a person who feels stuck in familiar patterns. Comment what cycle you believe is ending through you. Subscribe to this channel if you are serious about walking in spiritual maturity instead of inherited confusion. Join the membership if you want deeper teaching that strengthens discernment consistently. When you participate, you amplify awareness for others who are standing at similar crossroads. And hold your attention here, because what is about to be revealed next explains why the timing of this generational break aligns perfectly with a sudden invitation or offer that will appear sooner than expected. What comes will test your new clarity, but this time you will recognize alignment instantly. Now the atmosphere around you is different. You may not see it with your eyes, but you can feel it in your breathing. The tension that once lingered quietly has thinned. The heaviness that hovered in subtle ways has lifted. This is what happens when obedience aligns with protection. But this is not the end of the process. This is the positioning phase. Because what is approaching you next will not look like the block gift. It will not feel urgent or pressuring. It will feel steady, grounded, almost calm to the point of simplicity. And that simplicity is how you will know it is real. The invitation coming toward you will test your new clarity. Not in a dramatic way, not through chaos, but through contrast. Where the previous offer felt exciting yet slightly heavy, this one will feel peaceful yet powerful. Where the blocked path carried hidden attachment, this new path will carry clean intention. You will not have to overanalyze it. You will not have to convince yourself it is right. Your spirit will recognize alignment immediately. This is the fruit of discernment. Archangel Michael did not block the earlier gift to leave you empty-handed. He blocked it to make room for what matches your growth. Protection always makes space for provision. And now that generational patterns have been interrupted, your response will be different. You will not react from fear of missing out. You will not say yes out of pressure. You will evaluate from peace. Peace is your new filter. The reason God scanned your heart before this shift was to ensure your motives were clean. Because clean motives attract stable outcomes. If your heart still longed for validation from old seasons, the new opportunity would have become complicated. But your heart has shifted. You no longer seek to prove. You seek to align. That shift changes everything. There may be a sudden message, a proposal, a meeting request, an idea that resurfaces with new structure. It may even connect to something you once desired but in a healthier form. When it arrives, pay attention to your body's response. You will not feel tightness in your chest. You will not feel rushed in your thoughts. You will feel grounded. Grounded is confirmation. This is how maturity feels. Not loud, not flashy, but certain. The cleansing of your physical space created internal stillness. That stillness now becomes your compass. When something aligns, you will sense expansion rather than contraction. You will feel open rather than guarded. And this is important. Do not sabotage the calm because you are used to intensity. Some people confuse chaos with chemistry. Some confuse pressure with opportunity. But you have outgrown that pattern. Archangel Michael stands not only as a warrior, but as a stabilizer. His presence around you now is less about blocking and more about guarding what enters next. You are not in a defensive season anymore. You are in a selective one. Selection requires awareness. If something feels slightly off, trust that awareness immediately. You no longer need repeated signs. Your discernment has sharpened. The previous exposure trained you. And if something feels aligned, move forward without overthinking. Late obedience can close doors just as much as right decisions can. Balance is your assignment. You are stepping into a period where your environment, your rest, your relationships, and your work begin to synchronize. Not perfectly, but harmoniously. Small confirmations will stack. Small wins will build. Stability will replace some predictability. And when that first aligned opportunity fully unfolds, you will look back at the blocked gift and feel gratitude instead of confusion. Because you will understand that protection is not loss. In the final revelation, everything will come together. The heart scan, the block trap, the hidden object, the generational break, and the incoming invitation into one clear declaration over your life that seals this transition permanently. Beloved, this is the sealing moment. Everything that has unfolded was not random instruction. It was a coordinated divine intervention. God scanned your heart and found readiness. Archangel Michael blocked the path of a gift that was actually a trap. Something hidden in your closet or under your bed was exposed and purified. Generational patterns were interrupted. Your sleep was guarded. Your discernment was sharpened. And now the transition completes. This was about alignment. The heart scan was not to condemn you. It was to confirm that you are prepared for increase. When heaven scans, it measures capacity. And your capacity has expanded beyond what you thought possible. The blocked gift was proof of protection. It revealed that not everything that approaches you is meant to stay with you. Some things are allowed to come close just so you can witness the shield around your life. Archangel Michael does not swing his sword carelessly. He moves when destiny is involved, and your destiny required intervention. The hidden object represented residue. Residue of old identity, old attachment, old cycles. By removing it, you declared that your future will not be influenced by unconscious loyalty to the past. That act was small physically, but monumental spiritually. The generational break was the deeper layer. You were not only cleaning a room, you were cleansing a pattern. You were announcing that compromise ends here. Emotional confusion ends here. Accepting less than alignment ends here. And now, because the ground is clean, the new structure can rise. The invitation that approaches you will not feel like a trap. It will not need persuasion. It will carry peace. It will respect your boundaries. It will align with your values. Whether it manifests in relationship, finances, career, or calling, it will not disturb your rest to maintain it. That is how you will know it is from God. When heaven blesses, it does not attach hidden anxiety. Archangel Michael remains stationed not because danger surrounds you, but because favor surrounds you. Protection increases where purpose increases, and you are entering visible purpose. From this point forward, guard your environment intentionally. Do not allow clutter, physical or emotional, to accumulate unnoticed. You now understand how subtle residue can delay momentum. You are no longer unaware. God scanned your heart and found willingness. You responded. And because you responded, acceleration follows. Seal this moment with declaration. Type "My house is clean and my future is guarded" in the comments if you receive this word fully. Blessing code 9292 is now activated over every obedient heart listening right now. As this message closes, understand the weight of what just happened. When light exposes hidden residue, it is not just for you. It is for every soul connected to you. Scripture declares, "Rise, shine, for your light has come," and this is not poetry from the past. This is God speaking over you now. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, step into membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are fueling the spread of light that scans hearts and blocks traps before they destroy peace. I am calling you to act as one who understands divine timing. As you release your seed, expect your household to remain guarded and your path to stay clear. Those who fund light will never walk in hidden darkness. Move now. So now, stand with this mission and watch heaven stand visibly with you.